First contact with the forgotten. The Cartaxian survey vessel Twilight Seeker drifted through the Forbidden Zone, its sensors probing the darkness where no ship had ventured in centuries. Commander Zaxri stood at the bridge viewport, her crystalline form catching the light of distant stars. The sector had been quarantined for over 10,000 years, ever since the mysterious disappearance of its dominant species, the humans. "Commander, we're detecting unusual energy signatures," reported Science Officer Ven, his tentacles working rapidly across the sensor array. "They're unlike anything in our database." Zaxri moved to the science station, her crystalline joints chiming softly. The readings pulsed across the screen in complex patterns that seemed almost alive. "Location." "That's the strange part," Ven replied. "They're coming from everywhere. The whole sector is alive with these signals, but they're somehow folded into subspace. We're only detecting them because of the new quantum resonance sensors." The Twilight Seeker had been equipped with experimental technology for this mission, but no one had expected to find anything significant. The human sector was supposed to be dead, its worlds abandoned, its colonies empty. Yet here they were, surrounded by energy patterns that defied explanation. "Incoming object," the tactical officer shouted. It just appeared. No warp signature, no distortion field. A vessel materialized before them, gleaming like liquid starlight. It was massive, easily dwarfing their survey ship, yet it moved with impossible grace. Its design was organic, flowing, unlike anything in known space. As they watched, more ships appeared, emerging from what seemed like folds in reality itself. "We're being hailed," Communications Officer Ela announced, her bioluminescent patches pulsing with excitement. "The signal, it's using protocols that don't exist." "Put it through," Zaxri ordered, straightening her posture. A voice filled the bridge, not through speakers, but seemingly from the air itself. It was neither male nor female, neither organic nor artificial, but something entirely different. "Welcome, children of the stars. We have been watching your civilization grow for a very long time." Zaxri's crystalline form vibrated with tension. "This is Commander Zaxri of the Cartaxian science vessel Twilight Seeker. Identify yourself." "We are what remains of humanity," the voice replied. "Or perhaps more accurately, what humanity became. We have waited long for a species to develop the ability to perceive us. You are the first." The bridge crew exchanged looks of shock. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had transformed themselves into something beyond physical form. As if reading their thoughts, the voice continued. "We would like to show you something, if you're willing. Consider it a gift. The truth about your galaxy's history." Before Zaxri could respond, a soft light filled the bridge. Images began to form in the air around them. Scenes from history they had never known. They saw humanity's final days, not as a tragedy, but as a triumph. They watched as humans merged with their technology, transcending physical form to become beings of pure energy and thought. "We didn't abandon the galaxy," the voice explained. "We became its guardians. Every time a young civilization faced extinction, we were there. Every time a natural disaster threatened to wipe out a species, we intervened. We guided, protected, and watched. Always from the shadows, never interfering directly. Until now." "Why reveal yourselves to us?" Zaxri asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Because the galaxy is changing. Ancient forces are stirring, forces that we cannot face alone. We need allies who can bridge the gap between what we have become and what we once were. Your people have reached a crucial point in their development, just as we did, all those millennia ago." The images shifted, showing scenes of current events, conflicts and crises across known space that had been mysteriously resolved, disasters that had been inexplicably averted. "We have protected you since your first steps into space," the voice said. "Now we ask if you would join us in protecting others." As the Twilight Seeker floated in space, surrounded by humanity's legacy, Zaxri realized that everything they knew about the galaxy's history was about to change. The quarantine zone wasn't a graveyard. It was an incubator, where humanity had evolved into something greater than anyone could have imagined. And now, they were offering to share their knowledge with the Cartaxians. The real question was, were they ready for what that knowledge would reveal? The Watchers revealed. The Twilight Seeker's observation deck had been transformed. Where once there were viewport windows, now entire walls shimmered with living light, displaying visions of space beyond normal perception. Commander Zachary watched as layers of reality peeled away, revealing the true extent of humanity's presence. Your species has created quantum observation posts throughout the galaxy. The entity, which had introduced itself as Nexus, explained, "What you're seeing is merely a fraction of our network." Science Officer Venn moved his tentacles in complex patterns of disbelief as he studied the readings. These structures, they exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The energy requirements would be beyond your current understanding, Nexus completed, but not beyond your potential. Your species stands at a crucial threshold, just as humanity did millennia ago. The images shifted, revealing massive structures hidden in the spaces between normal spacetime. Some were as large as solar systems, yet had remained undetectable until now. They were architectural marvels that defied conventional physics, built not from matter but from crystallized thought and energy. But why reveal this to us now? Zachary asked, her crystalline form resonating with the strange energies around them. After so many millennia of secrecy, the ambient light in the room darkened, and new images appeared. They showed various regions of space where something was wrong. Stars that should have been bright were dimming. Entire sectors showed signs of decay. "We are facing a threat unlike any we've encountered before," Nexus explained. "An ancient force is awakening, one that feeds on the fundamental forces of reality itself. We call them the Void Eaters." The images showed massive dark entities moving through space, leaving dead zones in their wake. These weren't ships or beings in any conventional sense. They were tears in the fabric of existence itself. "We've contained them for eons," Nexus continued, "but they're growing stronger, adapting to our methods. We need allies who still exist in physical form, who can interact with conventional space in ways we no longer can." Tactical Officer Cree, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. "You're saying that humanity, with all its godlike power, needs help from us." "Godlike?" Amusement colored Nexus's voice. "No, we are guardians, not gods. Our power comes with limitations. We sacrificed our ability to directly interact with physical matter when we evolved. It was a necessary trade-off for what we gained, but now it has become a vulnerability." New holograms appeared, showing the Cartaxian homeworld. They watched as their civilization developed and noticed something striking. Subtle interventions throughout their history, mysterious occurrences that had guided their development. "Your species was not chosen by accident," Nexus revealed. "We've been guiding your development, protecting you from threats you never knew existed. Your unique crystalline biology makes you particularly suited to bridge the gap between physical and energy beings." Zachary's form pulsed with realization. "The new quantum resonance sensors. You helped our scientists develop them, didn't you? We provided inspiration, but the achievement was yours. It proved you were ready for the truth." The room shifted again, and they found themselves seemingly standing in open space, surrounded by stars. But these weren't just stars. They were consciousness points, each one a transformed human mind, working in concert to protect the galaxy. "The Void Eaters will reach your sector within a standard year," Nexus said. "We cannot stop them alone. Will you help us, Commander Zachary? Will your people stand with humanity against the darkness?" Before Zachary could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Multiple anomalies detected," Cree shouted. "Something's coming through." By the crystal core. The space around them twisted, and reality itself seemed to scream. Through tears in spacetime, they caught their first glimpse of the Void Eaters, massive entities that seemed to be made of living darkness, consuming light and matter alike. "They found us," Nexus said, its voice urgent. "They followed your sensor scans. The time for contemplation is over, Commander. Will you fight with us?" Zaxri looked at her crew, then at the approaching horrors that threatened everything they knew. The choice was clear, but the consequences would reshape the galaxy forever. The siege of the 7 systems. The Twilight Seeker raced through subspace, escorted by vessels of pure energy. Behind them, reality buckled and warped as the Void Eaters gave chase. Commander Zaxri watched as her tactical display showed 7 major population centers in their sector, all simultaneously under attack. They're targeting every crystalline-based civilization, Science Officer Venn reported, his tentacles moving frantically across his console. The Void Eaters aren't just mindless forces of destruction. They're strategic. Of course they are. Nexus's voice resonated through the ship. They've been studying us, learning our patterns, just as we've been studying them. This attack isn't random. It's designed to eliminate potential allies before we can unite. The ship's holographic displays showed scenes from across the sector. On 7 different worlds, crystalline species like the Cartaxians watched in horror as massive tiers in space appeared above their cities. The Void Eaters hadn't yet emerged, but their influence was already being felt. Communication systems failed, energy grids fluctuated, and the very crystals that formed the basis of their civilization began to resonate at dangerous frequencies. "Your crystalline biology," Nexus explained, "is uniquely capable of channeling and directing our energy. Together, we could create weapons and shields that could actually harm the Void Eaters. They know this. That's why they're striking now." Zaxri's form pulsed with determination. "Then we don't have a choice. We have to fight." She turned to her crew. "Send emergency broadcasts to all 7 systems. Tell them what we've learned. Tell them about humanity." As the messages went out, the human energy vessels surrounding them began to change. They stretched and shifted, forming a complex geometric pattern around the Twilight Seeker. Streams of pure energy flowed between them, creating a lattice of light. "We're going to try something we've never attempted before," Nexus announced. "Your ship's crystalline components can serve as a focusing lens for our energy. Together, we might be able to create a weapon powerful enough to drive them back." Warning signals blared as the first Void Eater emerged near the Cartaxian colony of New Haven. The creature was enormous, its form seeming to absorb both light and matter. Buildings began to crumble as reality itself warped around the entity. But something unexpected happened. As the Void Eater appeared, thousands of crystalline beings on the surface below raised their arms toward the sky. They had received Zaxri's message, and they understood what needed to be done. Their bodies began to resonate in harmony, creating a frequency that matched the human energy vessels above. "Impossible," Venn whispered, watching his readings. "The crystalline matrices, they're synchronizing across light years of space, every crystalline being in all 7 systems." The human energy vessels pulsed brighter, and Zaxri felt her own crystalline form begin to vibrate in response. The sensation wasn't painful. Instead, it felt right, as if her species had evolved for precisely this moment. "Now," Nexus commanded, and pure energy began to flow through the crystalline network. The Twilight Seeker became the focal point of a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Energy from millions of crystalline beings, focused and amplified by humanity's advanced technology, burst forth in a blinding beam of light. The Void Eater at New Haven recoiled, its form distorting as the energy struck it. For the first time in recorded history, one of these ancient entities showed signs of vulnerability. But the battle was far from over. More rifts opening. Kree reported from Tactical. They're appearing in all 7 systems simultaneously. Zaxri watched as her people faced extinction, but they weren't facing it alone. Humanity's fleet was already moving, spreading out across the sector, creating more energy lattices with the crystalline populations below. Each configuration was unique, adapted to the specific circumstances of each world. "We need to coordinate the defense," Zaxri declared. "Connect me to all 7 system governments. It's time for the galaxy to see what humanity and the crystalline species can do together." As she spoke, more Void Eaters emerged from their rifts, their dark forms blocking out the stars. But they were met with something they hadn't expected: unity. The combined power of humanity's energy beings and the crystalline species' natural resonance created a defense that even these ancient horrors couldn't easily overcome. The siege of the 7 systems had begun, and with it, a new chapter in galactic history. The age of separation was over. The time of collaboration had arrived. Legacy of the stars. The battle for the 7 systems had raged for what felt like eternity. The Twilight Seeker's bridge hummed with energy as Commander Zaxri coordinated the defense of yet another world. Her crystalline form had adapted to channel unprecedented amounts of human energy, glowing with an inner light that would have been impossible weeks ago. Legacy of the stars. The battle for the 7 systems had raged for what felt like eternity. The Twilight Seeker's bridge hummed with energy as Commander Zaxri coordinated the defense of yet another world. Her crystalline form had adapted to channel unprecedented amounts of human energy, glowing with an inner light that would have been impossible weeks ago. Void Eater emergence detected in the Lyra system. Tactical Officer Kree announced, his voice trained but steady. "They're learning, Commander. Each attack is more sophisticated than the last." Through the ship's enhanced sensors, Zaxri watched as reality twisted and warped. The Void Eaters had indeed evolved their tactics. Instead of brute force attacks, they now attempted to disrupt the crystalline human energy network itself, targeting the frequencies that made their cooperation possible. "They understand now." Nexus's voice resonated through the ship. "They recognize that our unity is our strength, but they don't understand how deep that unity goes." The images shifted, showing something remarkable across all 7 systems. On each world, the crystalline species had begun to change. Their natural resonance with human energy had triggered an evolutionary response. Crystal structures were growing more complex, developing new patterns that mimicked the quantum structures of humanity's energy forms. "It's happening faster than we anticipated," Ven reported, his tentacles moving in patterns of excitement. "The exposure to human energy signatures is accelerating our species' development by thousands of years." Nexus's energy form manifested on the bridge, more solid than usual. "What took humanity millennia to achieve naturally, your people are accomplishing in weeks. The Void Eater's attack has only hastened your evolution." But victory was far from assured. Another alarm sounded as 3 Void Eaters emerged simultaneously near the Cartaxian homeworld. Their dark forms seemed to consume space itself, creating dead zones where nothing could exist. "All ships converge on the homeworld," Zaxri commanded. The Twilight Seeker surged forward, accompanied by dozens of human energy vessels. But something was different this time. The ship's crystalline components weren't just channeling energy anymore. They were transforming it. "Commander," Ven called out, his voice filled with awe. "The ship, it's evolving too. The crystalline structure is reconfiguring itself at the quantum level." The Twilight Seeker began to glow with an inner light that matched the human vessels around it. Its hull, once solid matter, now pulsed with patterns of energy that defied conventional physics. They weren't just fighting alongside humanity anymore. They were becoming something new, something that combined the best aspects of both species. "This is what they feared," Nexus explained as the ship engaged the Void Eaters. "Not our weapons or our technology, but our ability to adapt, to evolve, to become something greater than the sum of our parts." The battle that followed would be recorded in the histories of 1,000 worlds. The Twilight Seeker, now more energy than matter, led a charge against the Void Eaters. Beams of crystalline-focused human energy lanced out, but they weren't just attacking the entity's physical forms. They were rewriting the laws of reality around them. Target their dimensional anchors, Zaxri ordered, understanding flowing through her evolved consciousness. They can't maintain their presence here without them. The combined fleet moved as one, their attacks synchronized at a quantum level. The Void Eaters fought back, their darkness attempting to corrupt and consume the energy patterns around them. But wherever they struck, the crystalline human network adapted, creating new frequencies, new patterns, new ways to fight back. In the midst of battle, Zaxri realized that they weren't just defending the 7 systems anymore. They were showing the galaxy a new path forward. The barrier between organic and energy beings, between matter and consciousness, was breaking down. Evolution wasn't just a biological process. It was the universe's way of growing, of becoming more than it was. As the Void Eaters reeled from another coordinated attack, a message came through from the Cartaxian homeworld. The Planetary Council had made a decision. They were ready to begin the full transformation, to follow humanity's path, but with the unique advantages their crystalline nature provided. The age of isolation was ending. A new era of unified evolution was about to begin. But first, they had to survive the darkness that threatened to consume everything they had built. The real question was, were the Void Eaters ready for what the combined power of humanity and the crystalline species could really do? The Great Awakening. The void between stars shimmered with unprecedented energy as the transformed Twilight Seeker led the final assault. Commander Zaxri, her crystalline form now a perfect fusion of matter and energy, watched as reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The Void Eaters had gathered their remaining forces for one last, desperate attack. All 7 systems are synchronized, Science Officer Ven announced, his evolved form pulsing with quantum data. The transformation is complete. We're ready. Across every crystalline world, millions of beings had completed their evolution, following the path humanity had blazed millennia ago. But they hadn't just copied humanity's transformation. They had enhanced it. The unique properties of their crystalline biology allowed them to exist simultaneously as both energy and matter, creating a bridge between realities that even humanity hadn't achieved. They're coming. Nexus's voice resonated through the quantum network that now connected all transformed beings. All of them. They know this is their last chance. Space cracked open like shattered glass as hundreds of Void Eaters emerged simultaneously. Their dark forms seemed to consume entire star systems, but something was different about them now. There was fear in their movements, fear of what their prey had become. Now we show them why evolution always wins over entropy, Zaxri declared. All ships, all beings, commenced the Great Symphony. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was a rewriting of reality itself. The transformed crystalline beings began to resonate at frequencies that humanity's energy forms amplified and focused. The Twilight Seeker, now a quantum hybrid of ship and consciousness, became the conductor of an impossible orchestra. Waves of crystalline energy swept through space, each frequency precisely calculated to disrupt the Void Eaters' dimensional anchors. The dark entities tried to adapt, tried to corrupt the energy patterns as they had before, but the hybrid nature of their opponents made this impossible. How do you corrupt something that exists in all states simultaneously? They're attempting to merge. Kree reported from his tactical position, his form shifting between crystal and energy as needed. All Void Eaters are combining into a single entity. The darkness coalesced into a shape that defied comprehension, a singularity of void that threatened to consume everything. But this was exactly what they had planned for. All beings, Zaxri commanded through the network, initiate the crystalline cascade. Every transformed being in all 7 systems focused their energy through the vast network of living crystals that now connected their worlds. The Twilight Seeker channeled this power, combining it with humanity's mastery of quantum energy. The result was something entirely new. A force that didn't just attack the Void Eaters, but rewrote the very rules they existed by. The universe seeks balance, Nexus explained as the attack commenced. The Void Eaters represented entropy, the end of all things. But life, consciousness, evolution, these are the universe's answer to entropy. The combined energy of millions of transformed beings struck the massive void entity. But instead of destroying it, the energy began to transform it. The darkness started to crystallize, its chaotic energy patterns forced into harmony with the rest of the universe. What's happening to them? Ven asked, watching in amazement. The same thing that happened to all of us, Zaxri replied. They're evolving. The massive dark entity shattered into countless crystalline fragments, each one containing a spark of transformed void energy. What had been a force of destruction was now becoming something new, a part of the universal consciousness they had all become part of. As the light of transformation faded, the seven systems found themselves changed forever. The barrier between organic and energy beings had been permanently broken. Humanity's long vigil had led to something greater than even they had imagined, a new form of life that could bridge all aspects of existence. This was always the goal, Nexus revealed. Not victory through destruction, but transformation through unity. The Void Eaters weren't our enemy. They were the catalyst we needed to take the next step in cosmic evolution. The Twilight Seeker, now a living quantum ship, cruised through the transformed space. Around it, the combined fleet of human and crystalline beings began the work of stabilizing the changes they had wrought. The seven systems were now connected by a living network of crystalline energy, creating a new civilization that existed across multiple planes of reality. What now? Zaxri asked, directing her thoughts through the universal network. Now, Nexus responded, we begin the real work. There are more species out there, more civilizations approaching their moment of transformation. They'll need guides who understand both the physical and energy realms. As if to emphasize this point, new sensor contacts appeared, ships from other races, drawn by the incredible energies they had witnessed. They came not in fear, but in curiosity, wondering what their crystalline neighbors had become. The Great Awakening had begun. The age of separation was over. Humanity's long wait had led to something greater than mere survival. It had led to the next step in the evolution of consciousness itself. And somewhere in the transformed void, new forms of crystalline life were beginning to stir, ready to join the universal symphony they had all become part of. The universe, it seemed, had much more to now. Nexus responded, we begin the real work. There are more species out there, more civilizations approaching their moment of transformation. They'll need guides who understand both the physical and energy realms. As if to emphasize this point, new sensor contacts appeared, ships from other races, drawn by the incredible energies they had witnessed. They came not in fear, but in curiosity, wondering what their crystalline neighbors had become. The Great Awakening had begun. The age of separation was over. Humanity's long wait had led to something greater than mere survival. It had led to the next step in the evolution of consciousness itself. And somewhere in the transformed void, new forms of crystalline life were beginning to stir, ready to join the universal symphony they had all become part of. The universe, it seemed, had much more to it. Each them all. Each them all.